A friend of mine collects furniture, and he sent me a link to Wharton Esherick's photos of some of his fabulous stuff that he made. And I fell in love with this table, and I convinced him to let me make it for him. Or, shall I say, replicate it to a point, and then try and put my own stamp of design on it. So I'm going to try and make that process available to those of you that are interested, and I'll just be recording as I go. I hope you enjoy the ride. Now that's the part of the grain that we want to expose to the maximum, and the boring stuff will end up joined in to other places. I'm going to demonstrate a better way to pull off a stupid move. I use my my thigh as leverage, because this is pretty tough on your upper body after a while. Most important thing I would recommend is not to have the push stick towards the top of your workpiece, rather less than halfway down, and angle it down slightly, constantly reminding yourself to get it down on the table and pull it out so it's away from the blades. I decided to just do a rough sketch on a piece of old ply about what the geometry of Wharton Esherick's table is, and then I decided to lay it out on my workbench, and I'll share that process with you and the thought pattern right now. Well, I've got a combination of black lines, blue lines, and red lines. The black lines are the solid stock and how it's going to get laid out into the structure of the table. I want to finger join them together, as I've reminded myself of here, but once they're finger joined at that angle together and rigid, I'm going to cut a dovetail into them and slide the unit into the tabletop from the back. But you won't see this from the front. That'll all disappear. So basically the legs. These are at least two hefty pieces of hemlock, Chinese hemlock I should say, that will be lap joined in the middle. Look at the black lines, don't look at the red lines. And then again, I'll make a big wide dovetail joint, probably slide into the top from the back. It's pretty tricky. It's really important to do what my dad always taught me. Plan your work and work your plan, because once you're committed, you're committed. Here you could see he made a wedge, and he put it down through a mortise, his leg, and that's what pulled everything tight. So we're going to try and replicate that. Obviously I'm going to make my joints first, and then cut the curves into them before gluing them together. And then the red parts are what I thought would be a fun way to go about replicating this table. That way I get to put my own little feel of style in there, and I don't have to feel like an utter copycat. Quite pleased with myself. I'm going to demonstrate how I drew those curves without the help of someone else, helping me draw the lines. Shop class 101, never bend your ruler. Well, I've got 3 of these, so this one I dedicate to drawing curves. Okay. The problem is, I reach over to grab my pen, whoops, darn. Got a left hand, whoops, darn. You take the pen in your mouth, you can draw your line like this, and if you're really good, keep talking. Not a bad trick, I'd say. Set the depth of my saw with the lag. Tool breaks. What do? Fix it for free for a year? No, fix it for free. What I'm going to do, make sure directs the wind from the motor through this thing towards the blade and blows your line clean for you. And the time. Let's choose a time. And we get to see if it fits. Standing like this. To me that looks like a pretty darn good fit. Now we can see where my depth was about 2 mil off, and that turned into about 4 mil of discrepancy. But you know what? I'm not going to remedy that right now because I'm considering how my bandsaw is going to put in curves, and it might behoove me to have extra meat that I can shape. We'll see. Now here we can see pretty clearly how the saw that I was so proud of, having rebuilt it, made a cut that wasn't straight. So now we're going to remedy that with good old rigid. And it's getting dark right now to help illuminate my endeavor here. And let's just see if the cut comes out better. That felt good. Sure enough, the line is more perpendicular than the other one. So we're good. We're going to machine the bottom part off and the top part off into a dovetail. So we're all right. Okay, hallelujah. That's a nice piece. It'll come in handy later at the feet. You know, hypocrites are, I don't like them. And I was one today where I said, that joint's gonna fit just fine, you know. Don't worry about the rough parts. And I decided that the extra meat that I thought I might want wasn't necessary. So I got the router and I put it on a big piece of plywood, mounted it on there. And I used a brand new big dovetail dovetail bit that I bought, because it mills things flat as it does. That fits pretty good. Okay, so we've got ourselves a joint. All right, that's working out pretty darn good. Keep away from that dinner, dog. Sorry, I had to tell my dog not to eat my dinner. All right, you can see where the wood's misshapen, and the front part there is wider than the back part, and this is the tabletop. So what I'm going to do is draw myself a line, right there, perfect, because I'm joining in. This wood will disappear. I'm joining in with a triangle piece that'll join this way. Once that line's cut, when I cut my dovetail slot in from here and here, all this meat's going to disappear. So a whole new triangle of solid wood will join in, and that'll serve as most of my cap. So I'm pleased about that. That's great. Today was a good day. Didn't damage any machines. Terrific. Thanks for watching.